This is Fieldsports Channel News. The government in England has reissued plans to ban hunting trophy imports and to halt most live animal exports. The Queen's speech, which opens the new session of Parliament, says there will be new animal welfare laws, and Charlie has a reaction to that in our news feature this week. The differences between stately homeowners and the people that own the land around them was laid bare this week. Two Dutch stalking guests on land around Rest Park in Bedfordshire took photos of themselves with the muntjac they'd shot. In the background is the pavilion, designed by 18th century Baroque architect Thomas Archer. English Heritage, which owns Rest Park House and Gardens but has nothing to do with the estate, says it condemns the stalkers. The RSPB and its supporters are lashing out at gamekeepers after two birds of prey were found poisoned. The RSPB blames gamekeepers for a golden eagle it says was killed on the Invercold estate in Aberdeenshire. It found the carcass in March, then waited a month to give it to police. At the RSPB's insistence, police searched properties on the estate but made no arrests and say that inquiries are ongoing. Thanks to Cameron Black for the story. Meanwhile, a poisoned pigeon used as bait killed at least one pair of peregrines nesting at Clay Hill in Shropshire. Natural England is backing the reintroduction of white-tailed eagles to the east of England. Roy Dennis Wildlife Foundation and Wild Ken Hill, a greening farming project in Norfolk, will release up to 60 juvenile white-tailed eagles over 10 years in West Norfolk. The species went extinct in the early 20th century, but Roy Dennis has reintroduced them to Scotland and the Isle of Wight. The reintroduction has been slammed by farmers as the birds have been known to pick off lambs. The Isle of Wight birds have been spotted as far north as County Durham and as far west as Somerset. An animal rights activist is being accused of repurposing her photographs in order to try and prove her point. Nada Fahoud, a writer on the Daily Mirror who won an award for her anti-hunting articles, tweeted the same picture of a hare to highlight first Muirburn and then snaring. Northern Irish politician John Blair, who wants to ban hunting with dogs in the province, has tried to explain his reasons why to the hunting press. Irish Country Sports and Country Life magazine carries an interview with Blair in which he defends his use of a League Against Cruel Sports survey, which was mainly filled in by people who don't live in Northern Ireland. He claims it shows his private member's bill is popular and dodges or fails to answer questions ranging from pest control to what will happen to the hounds if he succeeds in bringing in a ban. A link to it is in the description below. Thanks to Richard Walton for sending it in. A Welsh farmer has received death threats after questioning a cafe for using vegan milk. Gareth Wyn-Jones shared a picture of the drinks menu at a North Wales cafe on his Facebook page. He questioned why the cafe is using plant-based fluids instead of milk. Badly spelled messages threatened to end Gareth's life, calling him an animal-killing scumbag and potential serial killer. The cafe also says it has received online abuse, including threats of violence and arson. Romanian aunties are very pleased with themselves. They have a brown bear, a poaching incident and a member of a royal family, all in the same press release. Other anti-hunting and anti-royal politicians are weighing in to condemn Prince Emmanuel von Liechtenstein, who they accuse of shooting a male brown bear instead of a female he was licensed to shoot. They claim it was Romania's largest brown bear and has, or had, a name, Arthur. Prince Emmanuel denies the claim. A plea to hunt with an American bison cull has had an overwhelming response. More than 45,000 people have applied to cull bison in the Grand Canyon after the US National Park Service requested volunteers to help them with overpopulation. There's no hunting in the Grand Canyon, so the usual tag system, where a certain number of tags are available and American hunters apply for them in a national lottery, doesn't work here. The NPS only needs 12 hunters. However, aunties are furious that it's introduced a backdoor tag system for bison. Starving lions are attacking tourists in Namibia. The attacks on campers highlights the issue of human-wildlife conflict in the country. Hunters in Namibia have told Fieldsports Britain how Western bans on hunting tourism affects the economy and the alternative phototourism causes more harm than good.
It's really amazing, or what people really forget about, over and above the money that one person versus 1,000 bring in, is the ecological footprint they leave behind. So, imagine the amount of toilet paper that 55,000 people have to use versus 100. And that's where the crux lies. Like I said, it's ultimately about habitat preservation.
Last week's decision by South Africa on lions is having an effect on rhinos. South Africa wants to slaughter more than 8,000 lions, around a quarter of the world's population, because it doesn't like them being used for petting zoos, canned hunting or Chinese traditional medicine. Rhino owners fear that the government may say the same thing about their animals, which will lead to the slaughter of 60% of South Africa's rhino population, a spectacular own goal. Rhino farmers keep rhinos in the hope that South Africa will lift the ban on the export of rhino horn to the Far East. They point out that farming rhinos in order to remove horns prevents poaching of the wild stock. And finally, so China has no hunters or shooters. Think again. After 3 leopards escaped from a zoo in the south of the country, the Chinese government tried to find them with helicopters and drones. It then turned to the local hunting community in Huangzhou to ask for help. Dozens of hunters with dogs and guns turned out and have, so far, shot 2 of the missing cats. You are now up to date with Fieldsports Channel News. Stalking the stories, fishing for facts.